So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will.
Welcome to the Hub. Again, another opportunity that you and I have to converse, to talk, using radio and the social media to connect. I want to encourage you, those on Facebook and YouTube, those on the social media platforms, please share the live. Sharing is caring. And those on the radio listening to me via the radio, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, I am on. Remember, we have two programs every day except on Friday or Fridays, only the morning program. But Monday to Thursday, we are on morning and night, 8 to 9 in the morning, 8 to 9 during the night time. So you can spread that good news. I want to start off tonight by saying do not be too concerned with what you're hearing regarding Reporters Without Borders and the statement that they put out, and the media here still crying like some babies. Do not be too caught up with that. They're all a part of the same commerce, the same talala, right? The same child food. So it's not anything new. They're all a part of the same little connection. And any reasonable thinking person would ask the question, but wait, were the media workers prevented from doing anything or blocked from doing anything? And the answer is no. The answer is no. There was a ceremony at the Governor General residence. The Governor General can invite them if she wanted to, or if they are genuine and sincere, they would say, well, I would not go to a ceremony where one person coming in this hour, another coming in 3 hours, another coming in 4 hours after. They would not stay there for that entire day when people are coming in at different intervals. So they were disingenuous to make you believe that it was some ceremony where everybody going in at once and sign, and then the media will get the chance to ask them questions and capture the moment. But they're not telling you that GIS was there. GIS is media too, you know. GIS is the state-controlled media. And when they capture the moment, they send that to the media houses. So to make all this fuss, and Reporters Without Borders, they coming across as political, because most of the journalists and reporters here in Grenada, they have some political connection, some kind of allegiance, some kind of loyalty to a particular political party. Some of them will not come openly and say it. So I will tell you where I stand openly. But the majority of these people, they are working and they're pushing certain agendas for a particular political party. So reporters without borders, or whatever they call them, they come across as political. They're being used by the many political reporters and journalists who are actually connected in a partisan way to a political party. And that is what they're accustomed to. That's how they function. So they're not getting their way. They decide, well, they're going to put out a statement and then send that misinformation to Reporters Without Borders for them to publish similar. But they must know that the NDC administration is the one who actually included them as part of the minimum wage adjustment or minimum wage order so that they can get a better salary from their employers. They must know it was not the NDC who pushed down a certain journalist in the Ministry of Works conference room. It was under the NNP, a particular minister chucked down a particular journalist. They must know that it was not the NDC who caused the Grenada Today newspaper to shut down, to fold up. It is a particular individual during the NNP time who went after their head. They must know that they have been lobbying the NNP for all the many years for freedom of information legislation to be passed so that they have access to information. So if they request information from any public official within a reasonable time, they should get it. But the NNP refused to pass that legislation. They refuse. And many of the reporters and journalists, they were prevented from going into events and activities when the NNP was in power. And I can go to a number of other reporters. We had people like Paul Roberts and Stanley Charles and Eddie Frederick and all of them. It was the NNP administration who actually went after everything they had. They couldn't save a dime. They couldn't have anything in their name, all because of freedom of expression. They were expressing themselves, and the big bad bully didn't like it, and they decide, well, I will shut them down and I will cripple them for life. So historically, the reporters and journalists, they have always fared better under the NDC when compared to the NNP. The NNP administration has always been brutal to the media. They never had access to certain things. They were always treated in a kind of way. So to come now and cry like a little baby who didn't get the milk tea on time, hoping that Grenadians will have sympathy or pity for you, it's not happening. If you check out carefully, whenever they bring that news regarding journalists and reporters and so on, the general public would always be against them. The general public has no confidence in the reporters and journalists in this country, and many of those newsrooms, they don't have confidence in them. That is why when you look at GBN, for example, the numbers are very, very poor. You look at the other media outfits, people are not interested in them anymore. Mainstream media, they have been crippled. People don't read as before. These newspapers, sometimes you don't even see it in circulation. You may see the New Today newspaper, but the others, you don't even see it. And then you look at some of the radio stations with newsrooms, you don't even hear it on buses anymore or in private vehicles anymore. People are not interested in them anymore. You look at GBN News tonight, they fighting to get 300 and something people on their Facebook feed. They don't even talk about YouTube. Very few people watch them there. You look at MTV, same thing. They're scrambling. There might be one or two stories that might gather a good viewership. But generally speaking, they are left naked in the open because of social media and because most things are live streamed. People get that information way before. So many a times they give you stale information and they twist it because they want a certain narrative to be out there. A lot of these people who work within the media in Grenada, a lot of them, not all, but a lot, they are carrying a political bag, right? They support the NNP, a lot of them, plenty of them. And they openly say so, they openly demonstrate so. But they would play thing when it comes to their profession, when it comes to their work. So I am happy that Grenadians are seeing through them and they're not getting the kind of recognition or respect that they desire because people know what they're about and what they're up to, right? They don't want progress. They don't want opportunities to flow for this country. No, a lot of these people prefer the NNP in power than the NDC. A lot of them within that particular fraternity. They prefer that because they can do any old thing. They have access. They can go here, there, and everywhere to drink and sip wine and bounce glasses. And that's what they're accustomed to. They got a free training. Well, they call it a training, but I don't call it a training. A sightseeing mission to China. So they go to China for 6 weeks or 4 weeks. You know, they get the opportunity to travel for the first time. They go through the United Kingdom, you know, England, and they might spend a day or two there if they're lucky, because most of them don't have visa. And if they do, then they get a little opportunity to travel. And they see it as a big thing under the NNP, a big thing for them. But they can't go anywhere with the participation certificate or certification of participation that they would get from wherever they go in China for the 3 weeks or the 4 weeks or the 6 weeks. So it's not really a bona fide training opportunity that they're going on. It's just a sightseeing. They go there, and come back, and that's what they used to get under the NNP. Nothing big, nothing significant, right? But they're loyal still. You ask them, what have you achieved under the NNP? I expect them to be fair, balanced, and accurate. That is what their work supposed to be and always represent fairness, making sure that what they write is balanced and making sure that it's accurate, right? But we have not been seeing that here in Grenada, I can tell you that. A lot of those reporters and journalists, they're paid by the piper, and the piper many a times, the politician. The piper many a times is some political party. So they have to toe the line, all right? So don't be fooled by these reporters without borders and all kind of nonsense. Any reasonable thinking person would say, but wait. Normally, a swearing-in ceremony like that, or with some cabinet reshuffle or reassignment or whatever you want to call it, that's not a big thing. In fact, that would last for about a minute or two before the Governor General, right? The main thing here, the most important thing here is the engagement, the press conference. So they boycott the press conference. They don't want to ask any question, or they don't have questions to ask, or they cannot put some questions together, string some questions together to ask. They can't. Many of them, they're incompetent. A lot of them, right? And I love what Attorney at Law Rogers Ferguson QC or Casey, right? King's Counsel said. He said, look, this ceremony is what it is. You go there, you do the usual thing, nothing extraordinary, nothing, use words to that effect. It's nothing big. What is big is the opportunity that they got the next day to go and ask questions, and they boycott the thing, right? But that is what interests the public. If you ask certain questions to get certain clarity, to get certain information, that's what we are interested in. But you see, the media, they're interested in some drama, some sensationalism, some kind of melee, some kind of bacchanal, that's what they're accustomed to. They love that. They really do. So don't be too, caught up with that. It's expected. That's how they operate. That's how they do things. I'm not moved by that at all. Then the second thing, convention, NNP convention. Look, Oliver Joseph seemed to be out of touch with reality. Keith Mitchell doesn't want to go anywhere unless they kick him out or they force him out. And the same thing he did to Blaze is the same thing they will do to him. But there's a group of people within that party who trying their best to get rid of him, to remove him, because they see him as a liability. They see him as, the weakest piece of thing out. It's time to go. But he's pushing back because he has a group still pushing back, because Emlyn wants leadership, Peter David wants leadership, and there are some people who don't want both of them. They want an outsider. They want somebody to come from outside. So, tit for tat, and then Keith Mitchell wants to hang on. They're having serious problems. But you see, when a leader overstays his time, because a good dancer knows what time to get off the stage, when to get off the stage. If you remain there, all the applause turn into boos. And that is what is happening to Keith Mitchell and the NNP. He overstayed his time. And there was no planning, right? No succession planning. Nothing where that is concerned. So you have all these people within his party, and they don't have leadership qualities. And not only that, the party is not able to attract new people. The NNP has not been able to attract new supporters or new people. They're trying, but they're not succeeding. Because people look at the NNP as a whole Garyite, a whole GLP party, in its dying stage. That is what it looks like. But they believe that they can bounce back. And it's always good to have a belief. But the reality and the ground is not saying so. Because our Grenadian people are embracing transformation. And they're happy to see what is happening in the country. Right? So that whole convention thing, I think Oliver misspoke. But we also know that Oliver is not too happy with Keith Mitchell remaining there. We also know that. We also know that Peter David is up and down the country trying to mobilize support, because he really wants the leadership. But Keith knows that Peter is as bad as him in terms of public perception. Peter is not as viable politically as you think. A lot of Grenadians think that he's viable. He's not. He might be even worse than Keith in terms of likability and viability at this point in time, because they're not that different. Maybe complexion-wise, he has a lighter complexion compared to Keith, who has a darker complexion. Maybe that. And maybe Peter a little taller than Keith, who's a bit short. Maybe Keith has more money than Peter, or Peter has more money than him, because, they've always been at the top in terms of finance through mother and father and family and so on, right? But nothing significant, nothing big, nothing grand. There are a lot of people who dislike Peter straight out. And definitely you would not get the people in the middle voting for him. So Keith knows all of that. Keith knows that his days is done, but he also knows that Peter's days is also numbered politically. Peter almost lost in tongue. If you don't know, Peter almost lost in tongue. Right? So don't make him believe that he's some popular thing on the block. That's not the case. But folks, I want to feature the Meet John James, one of Carriacou's finest videographer. I want to feature that at this point.
My name is John James, and I'm the creative director at Palm Tree Vibes. My brother and I started this company over 10 years ago, and we have been involved in the creative arts since. My father is a musician, so we were born and raised in music. I went to the T.A. Marshall Community College and I studied information technology. And during my time there, although I was performing well, I realized that this is not where my passion lies. So I would find myself at times coming home to the studio with my friends and just creating music, creating videos, and the joy that we felt there, the joy that I felt there, I couldn't explain it. And I realized that, hey, this is what I like, this is what I want to do. We hosted Foundation for the first time in 2023, last year. We recognized key areas that we had to focus on. Even though the event was good and was a success, success is always a growing story, you know, you cannot always remain at that level. So we decided that we are going to expand on the knowledge that we give the kids so that they can be able, or better able, to perform on that day.
My name is Nathan Leak, also known as Technical. The reason I like soca is because my father is also an artist, mental kid, and I was inspired by him, so I really like singing, so I followed in his footsteps. My auntie told me what the foundation, and I realized like my father sings, so I want to sing too. I'm the reigning foundation champion, and it feels good to be champion, and I hope next year that I can regain the title.
We started the foundation workshops with the aim of improving key skills. Some of the areas are in communication, performance, focus training, dance, and fitness. We focus on those areas because we believe that it's not just about going on stage and perform. It's also about self-development and self-recognition. We want to give the kids all the opportunities that we can to develop them, to better prepare them for Foundation 2024. Some of the major challenges that we faced was funding Foundation, especially the workshops. Putting these workshops together is no easy task, and it costs a lot. Most of our facilitators come up from Grenada to host them, so we are faced with the cost of accommodation, transportation, and of course still paying them. So that was challenging, but we partnered with the Grenada Office of Creative Affairs, and they were able to support this venture. My advice to aspiring creative talent: just keep creating. You know, don't let anybody tell you that, you know, this is not going to work for you, you should go study something else. Just focus on your craft and continue to develop it. Remember, the more you create is the more you get good at something, and you know, try not to do too many things. Focus on one thing and be great at that, and when you're really great at that, do something else. The sky's the limit. Continue creating.
I love my, I feel it to my soul. I won't leave it alone. I love the vibes of the energy that I'm feeling, yeah. It's plenty much today. Look around and see everybody moving like family. That big smile of family, loving the mind.
So I really wanted to feature that there. Carriacou, they're doing good when it comes to the creative arts, videography, just name it, writing, singing, producing. They're doing well, and the government of Grenada, the creative, the Office of Creative Affairs, they have been very supportive when it comes to, you know, making sure that Carriacou and Petit Martinique get their fair share. They've been very, very supportive there, and I want to commend them for that. So I was saying to you that Peter David, some people believe that this guy is strong. This guy almost lost that seat in the tongue of St. George, if you don't know. All right, I'm trying to get the detail here to prove that to you. All right, let me just feature another thing here with our beloved Prime Minister being at that opening ceremony for the Pro Bono Women's Clinic down there at GIDC.
things that fall apart from childbearing. If you have prolapse, you have urinary incontinence, you have problems that develop from childbearing, if you have corner pain. These are all areas very much my expertise. Thank you for the commitment to serve Grenadians, particularly women. And to a large extent, I believe the underserved and the underprivileged are the ones who are going to benefit most from this clinic, and we'll be very, very happy for it. Thank you.
Yes. So again, that's a good move. It's a clinic for women, and it's really what we want to see. The private sector and other people who benefit or benefited from SGU and so on, that they can come and give back. They can set up different clinics and so on and give back to Grenada. So this is a very good move. So I was saying to you that, yeah, Peter is not no heavyweight. This man only received 1,329 votes. That's all Peter David received. Claudette Joseph received 1,118 votes in the last election. But I wanted to get the breakdown because he was riding really high during the NNP time. So when the NNP ran and they won all 15 seats, he had a significant number. All right, his numbers were really, really high. And that fell significantly. So I was looking for it in terms of the actual numbers here, because he had a good lead, a very, very good lead during that period. But I'm not seeing it. I have to kind of dig deeper for it. But I remember in 2018, he won bigly. And then from 2018 to 2022, he lost a significant amount of votes. So I was looking for that thing there, but I'm not able to actually get that for you. But don't worry. But you can even look for yourself. Look it up for yourself. You can imagine all the heavyweights that he played. He didn't win by much. And Keith knows data. Keith knows that Peter's popularity and viability and likability that has been dwindling significantly over the many years, right? And maybe I should try to look and locate that the information, because as they fight among themselves, you must know that Keith also knows that Peter is not that viable.
Inakaniba, liba, ooh, we are Grenadians, so are you. I love spice, where everything is nice. Grenada, may God bless you. Stepping off the plane, it's so easy to breathe again. Life in the big city has finally took its toll, and it's been so long, but I'm finally home. What better place to rest my weary bones than in this beautiful island, where there's so much to see. Every corner I turn, there's something else to remind me of this beautiful nation and what it means to me. Not a thing out of place, that's what's special about it. Island in the sun, island in the sun, island in the sun, island in the sun, island in the sun. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a song that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight. It's the beginning of our lives, sweet Grenada. This is home. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a song that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight. It's the beginning of our lives, sweet Grenada. This is home. So sweet Grenada, this is home. Sweet Grenada, this is home.
My mic is muted. Oh boy. Yeah, my mic is muted. All right. All right, my mic is muted. All right. So it's back now. Yeah, my mic is muted. Sorry for that. The audio, yes, my mic is muted. Sorry for that. There, I actually brought that thing down. Everybody tell me that my mic is muted. Yeah, I really wanted the comparison, right? Yeah, so I'm back. Yeah, my mic is muted, so I might be affected on the radio too. So let me call Kim to put me back on. Yeah, trying to get the just as we go. Get that.
Because now more than ever we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is put in more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Right, so I managed to get that information here for you for the tongue. All right, because I really wanted to get that to make the comparison. So Peter David in 2000 and in 2018, he ran in 2018. Yeah, he ran in 2018. I know he didn't. He ran. So he skipped. I think there was one election that he didn't run at all. All right, there was one election that he didn't run at all. So right. So Peter. So he ran in 2018. So Peter got 1,615 votes in 2018, and Claudia Joseph got 789 votes. All right. So that is what he got in 2018. 2018 and 2022. 2022. And then if you go further back, you would realize that he had more votes then, right? So if you go further back, you would realize, so in 2022, he got 1,329 votes, 1,329 votes. But the election before that, he got 1,615 votes. And the one before that, he got more votes. So if you look at the graph, you would realize that he's growing more and more unpopular. And Keith knows that. Don't fool yourself. Keith knows that he has been really and truly losing a lot of support. Right? And that's a fact. And it's something that a statistician like Keith would look into before even, considering him to replace whoever in the tongue, right? So in 2008, so because he didn't run in 2013, 2008, and I'm only looking at it because there are some people out there who believe that this guy is popular or this guy is it. But Keith knows that he's not. Keith knows that. So he ran in 2008. So I was looking for that information here on the Electoral Office website. I'm not seeing it here, but I could recall him getting a good amount of votes in 2008. All right, so bear with me. Let me get that information. It's not hard to get.
This also goes for every Trinbagonian who want to live in a foreign land. Now is the time to come home and do something instead of staying out there and freezing. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us go hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Every build a nation together. I say come, every build a nation together. Every build a nation together. I say come.
Yeah, so I have not been very successful with 2008 because I'm trying to get that information there with 2008. All right. I really wanted to show you, but I'm looking here online, but I've not been very successful with that. 2008, the NDC won the election, and I thought I could have easily gotten the results there, but I have not been very, very successful with that. So let's see how it goes here. All right, because the NDC won that election, and I remember the numbers were really, really impressive for Peter David, right? For Peter and the NDC. But I wanted to get the specifics, right? The actual how much votes he got specifically. But I've not been very successful with that constituency. Let me see. I've not been very successful with that. So I know some of you all might be looking too. Yeah, I wanted to know the exact amount he won by. But I remember it was like, you're seeing the chat where it's going down and down and down. So he started on a high, he won in 2008, and from there he just started losing and losing and losing and losing support, losing support. So it's not surprising that Keith Mitchell doesn't have any faith in him, and any possibility of him being leader. That's why Keith Mitchell doesn't want to give the thing over to him. All right, that's why they have this kind of tit for tat, this infighting, this battle among themselves. All right, I really wanted to get the exact amount that he got, but I'm not successful with 2008. 2008. I got 2018 and 2022. All right. General information, election archives, last election, electoral system. All right. So I'm still looking, and while I'm talking to you, I'm still looking, but I'm not able. I don't know if anybody were able to pull up something on the actual data. Let me look at my WhatsApp to see. But I remember he got a good amount of votes. No, I'm not successful with them there too. Nobody seemed to be working with me, working along. Let me see here. Somebody sent me something. Let me see something. All right, let me see something here. All right. Nice. So tweet. Yeah, tweet, send me some information there. Tweet, Philip, my good partner. Right, so Peter David got, well, he's even worse. Right? Peter, let me see. Peter was 1,400, right? So 1,445. All right? 1,445. Right, so that was Peter. So I got that from Tweet the Year. So if you look at it, Peter did well in 2018. So from the 2008 elections, he didn't win by much. All right, he didn't win by much. So just look at it, just check it out. Tongue of St. George. Let me see here. Tongue of St. George. All right, nice. So NNP got 1148. Right, so the person who 1148. So the person who ran against him at that time in Tongue got, I think it was Brenda Hood. I think so. I can't remember fully. But that person got 1,148 votes. And he got 1,445 votes. Because you see, Keith Mitchell is not, don't believe that he's always dumb. He might act dumb from time to time. Right? But when it comes to statistics and when it comes to data, and for the leadership of his party, he knows that Peter is not that viable. Peter is not that strong, right? Some people believe that, right? So a good friend served me with information there too. All right, nice, thank you. So that's Elvin Bishop. Thank you very much for that information there. So if you look at it from 2008, because he didn't run in 2013 when NNP got all the seats, right? So NNP got all the seats in 2013. I think that's the period when he didn't run. And you had Nicholas Steele emerging, right? And Nicholas Steele won that seat. And then Peter came back in 2018 and Nicholas Steele went in South, St. George, all right? So just check it out. Peter in 2008 or 2008, he had 1,445 votes. That's what he got. In 2018, he gained a little, not much. He gained about, let me see. He's gained, and you're talking about leadership, huh? So Keith knows what he's doing. So 1,445 minus 16, 15, right? So he gained 170 more votes. So 2008, you know what went on with them there? He joined up with NNP in 2018, and he got 170 more votes, 170 more people to join him. All right? But the next election, and remember, he beat Claudette Joseph by a good margin, and I think that is what you need to look at. Claudette Joseph in 2018 got 789 votes. Peter got 1,615. That's a significant amount of votes he won by. But we will look at 2022, right? So 16, 15 minus 7, 8, 9. So he actually beat Claudette Joseph in 2018 by and 26 votes. But in 2022, the last election, right? So the next election, meaning the last one, Claudette Joseph gained significantly on him. It was both of them again in the race. So Claudette moved from 789 to 1118, a difference of 329 votes. So she gained 329 votes. And Peter lost. So 1329 minus 1615. Peter lost 286 votes. Because remember, 2018, he had 1,615 votes. Claudette had 789 votes. Both of them ran, there was a rematch, right? Peter won that seat, but Claudette gained 326 votes because she rose, she increased the amount from 789 votes to 1,118 votes. And Peter, who had 1,615 votes, lost 286 votes because he went down to 1,329 votes. So Keith is looking at all of that. Peter won that seat by how much? All right, 1329 minus 1118. Peter won that seat by only 211 votes. 211, right? So Keith knows fully well that Peter is not that popular or liked. So while there are some people out there who believe that this guy could be it for NNP, Keith knows that he will never succeed as a leader of the NNP. He's not popular. He's not this big, solid candidate out there. He's polarized. He's tainted. He comes with a lot of baggage, right? And he's not, in other words, Keith bad and he worse, or Keith worse and he bad. You don't know how to put it. So both of them, Keith is saying, well, boy, in other words, Keith's move is really saying to us that he ain't one Peter, right? He ain't one Peter day. Because Peter would not succeed. He would not be successful. And because Keith is saying, well, if he can't be there, that's Keith, then Peter can't be there because both of them, they bad. They ain't good politically, in my belief. You see? So that is what is taking place. So Keith knows. So don't fool yourself when they talk about convention and Peter mobilizing and organizing and doing X and doing Y. Really and truly, it's a dying party. The NNP is a dying breed. It's like the GULP in 1996 or 1997 when the late, great Sir Eric Matthew Carey passed away and was buried in the Center Cemetery. I think it was 1997. I went to that funeral, in the stadium. I think they had it not the stadium, the Trade Center. I think they had it in the Trade Center, and then they buried him in the Center Cemetery in this gold casket and then he had this equipment to bring him down or take him down nice, the coffin and so on. I could recall. I was in that funeral when he was buried. May his soul rest in peace. Right. So I'm saying to you, the NNP. Right. So somebody saying yes, it was in the Trade Center. Yeah, because I actually went there. So I'm pretty old. I'm not a young guy. Right. So I am saying it is clear, very, very clear, that Keith knows that this guy is not viable. And if you're home and you're looking at the data, all you need to do is just go back and look at the data. You will realize that Peter is getting more and more unpopular. If there's an election today, there's a great probability that he will lose and lose big. Yep, in the tongue. And I still maintain that if there was another person who ran against him, he would have lost that seat in a big way. Right? I still maintain that. Yes, we know my good colleague, she did well. She gained a lot of votes on him, but I still maintain that if there's another candidate, that person would have beat Peter David handsomely in the tongue. So he's not that popular, he's not that viable, and Keith knows that. That is why this whole thing is taking place, this fight within the party, this bacchanal within the party. Yep. And that will continue for a long, long time. So Keith now trying to push, based on my information, the reports reaching me, Keith's trying to push somebody else. Because he doesn't want this guy. Right? He doesn't want Peter. Because he knows. Keith is a statistician. He knows Peter is not viable. And then Emlyn is even worse. Emlyn doesn't have a national appeal. Right? And she's tainted. Miss Faith Lynn, she's tainted. Miss Faith, tainted. Right? So the NNP is in real commercial, real stupidness. And people are not gravitating towards the NNP. They don't see the NNP as a viable party, as a party of choice. Yep, they don't. And that is the situation that, we have before us in this country here. You have the NNP making melee and bacchanal, but they're disorganized. They have all kind of melee, all kind of bacchanal, all kind of stupidness. Yep, but that's what it is. But Peter is not strong. So don't make him make you believe that he's strong. I'm telling you, the data, just look at the data and you'll realize that. He's not making gains. He's losing support. From 2018 to 2022, you'll realize that he has lost a lot of support, a lot of grounds. And he's more or less in St. Andrew than in the tongue, right? So I'm saying to you, look, NNP gone through. NNP in a real big hole. And, Oliver Joseph was on to the point and make certain statements, but deep down, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Keith not going to let go the party for Peter. And the party, they know within there that Peter don't stand a chance. Doesn't stand a chance. Nope. But folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Take good care. I want to extend my deepest condolences to Larry Joseph, my good friend. Larry, his wife passed away either sometime during late last night or, as recent as today or yesterday. A good friend of mine, Larry Joseph, not Sir Lawrence Joseph, right? Larry Joseph. His wife was a really nice lady. I happen to know her, met her on umpteen occasions, and I want to extend my deepest condolences to her family and to Larry and the entire Joseph family. I know it's a great loss, but my brother, hold strong. All right? I know you're back and forth in the US the last time you came by, just before I went to New York, and you told me that, she's pulling through and she's coming on, and you're standing up there with her through thick and thin, and I know you're that kind of person. I want to extend my deepest condolences to you and your family, Larry Joseph, my good friend, all right, on the passing of your wife. She was a really, really lovely lady. May her soul rest in peace. Folks,